good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, man. Another banger episode once again, ladies and gentlemen. Also, guys, if you guys did not know, which I didn't know when I recorded my review for the first episode, but found out afterwards, and I did mention it in my review as well, for that episode when I was editing in post, that this show is indeed getting a same-day simuldub. Yeah, I did not know that, because Crunchyroll just refuses to market their shit anymore. I don't know how we went from Hero Walk to Season 2. And to me, for Season 3 and Season 4, did not get much more. I think Season 3 got a bit of marketing for its same-day simuldub. I know for Season 4, they just announced it at New York Comic Con, and that was it. Because I was looking at it, like, are we getting the same day simuldub? Are we getting the same day simuldub? Are we getting the same day simuldub? And then it was finally announced, and I think that was it. But Season 2, you guys know, they marketed the hell out of that shit, man. It was crazy. So I don't know how we went from that to like, oh, you know, just throw a Twitter post when the episode dropped, like, hey, the same day simuldub, you know, and like, why don't y'all market this shit? I don't understand why and build hype. I don't understand. I don't understand Crunchyroll's marketing. Because I think it's stupid. I feel like you should market this shit weeks in advance, especially for a same day simuldub. Like, buy the usual simuldub 285. But for same day simuldub, bro, market that shit. Anyway. This episode was amazing. The dub cast, let me talk about them right now, are all fantastic, man. I love the dub cast for Vigilantes. So far as you guys know, the guy for Koichi, this is like literally his first major anime role, his first named character, his first MC, damn near his first everything, because previously the only other credit he had, at least him, I don't know if maybe he did previous VO work for like some video games, or like live action dubs for like Korean shows or whatnot, man. I'm not sure. They're live action movies. I don't know. Just some additional voice work for like one other anime. That's just all I found on when I checked this page on the wiki. Let's see. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a Twitter. He doesn't have fucking nothing. But he sounds amazing as Koichi, man. I love the guy for Knuckleduster, man. And actually the girl that's playing Pop Step, a friend of mine, Bad MHA takes on Twitter if you guys don't know. Follow him if you're not. Oh, now it's MHA Lore because his old account got wrongfully suspended by fucking Bakudeku's and One Piece fans. Whole story with that. But anyway, yeah, follow him, man. And yeah, he's a big fan of her work, and he like linked me to her Twitter page and her demo, video demo. Or she was actually she actually plays one of Damien's friends in Spy Fam, the one with like, oh, Damien. I'm pretty sure she plays that one if I remember correctly. So yeah, she's great, man. I love the dub cast for Vigilante so far. But yeah, anyway, guys, phenomenal episode. Let's just jump right into the actual episode itself. So we start with the episode right where we left the last with Aizawa being formally introduced into the show, man. Which, if you guys don't know, Aizawa is probably gonna be like a pretty major character in Vigilantes. Like, I know for a fact that they seemingly show up way more of Aizawa's backstory, like what happened to his friend and like basically how he died in Vigilantes, judging from like one of the manga volumes have Aizawa on it. So it seems like he will be a pretty major focus in Vigilantes, and he'll get a big he'll definitely get like a whole art dedicated where you can see more of his backstory compared to what we saw in the main series. I'm really excited to see what that is whenever the anime gets to that point in, I don't know, season 3 or 4 or something. But anyway, Koichi starts freaking out. Pop Step asks him if he knows who Aizawa is, and he says that he doesn't. And that's when we found that's Aizawa's day off. So today he's just a concerned citizen. And Koichi and Pop start freaking out, thinking that they think that he's gonna think that they're villains. He's like, they got nothing to do with this. And by this point, Aizawa drops his bag, where you can actually get a look at what he actually bought, which we see it's a dry iron something with cats. I'm not sure if that's like a calendar or like some like cat magazine he bought, but something with cats on it, which was kind of surprising, which is kind of interesting considering you guys know cats don't seem to like Aizawa. You guys remember there was a whole episode, I want to say this was back in season 5, when Aizawa was beefing with Todoroki's cat, or like a stray cat in Todoroki's neighborhood it was. That was pretty funny, where he's just like standing there and the cat just hissing at him and they just got this like standoff. So I guess Aizawa's a bit of a cat guy. I did not know that. So that's cool. So Aizawa and Knuckleduster just straight up go into fights, man. Once again, animation here look great, especially once we get back from the OP. That little segment where just them fight, where just a long to them fighting, and the animation there look great. I'm happy to report that the onomatopoeia seem to be a prominent thing with Vigilantes. Like, I'm hoping that this, and it seems like this will be the case with this being in this episode as well as in the previous episode, episode 1. The onomatopoeias might be here to stay, man, because you guys know I loved that in the first episode. So hopefully that becomes a permanent thing on Vigilantes anime adaptation, and we see it throughout the rest of the series, because I love the way that they've been incorporated in here. And activates his quirk, thinking like he's like, all right, I'm done. He must be using an endurance quirk. I'm not playing on his rules, so he activates his quirk thinking that that's going to stop him or slow him down. But of course, as we know, that does jack shit. And I also gotta say, I love the shot of Knuckleduster after Aizawa kicks him in the face, and he's like smiling with like little droplets of blood everywhere, man. Love that shot, man. As Pop says, like, oh my god, he has a death, he must have a death wish. As they continue on this fight, which once again I said the animation here was phenomenal, man. Love the storyboarding here as well. I love like this pose and like the posing on Aizawa when he lands after he jumps over Knuckleduster using a scarf, man. Love the posing there, man. The storyboard of this episode was great. Anyway, after we get back from the OP, the fight continues on, and it seems that they've been fighting for a while, because if you guys can see in the OP beforehand, it was a bit sunset, but now it's still kind of sunset, but definitely way closer to nighttime, so they've definitely been fighting for a good while. They probably went at it for like 10 minutes, if not longer, man, while they were, and like this is when we get probably one of my favorite cuts of the episode, when Aizawa and Knuckleduster are really just straight up boxing for a bit, man. It was just one long take, and I loved it, man. This was probably my favorite cut of the episode. Love this sequence. So, while all of this chaos is going around, the toy guy takes this as an opportunity to get the fuck out there, and he starts running away. Popstep mentions that from the back he looks pretty similar. She reviewed the photos again and noticed that he was always at all the sightings of the villains that were using Trigger. So obviously they are connected in some way. So Popstep and Koichi order them to go after him. Koichi's like, wait, what? he takes him a second to go there before he finally starts chasing after him. Where then we see Knockoff Wolverine and his buddies once more, man. Once again, I asked you, are these guys stand users? Are they secretly standing with how many times they keep running into each other? Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. So dudes, he's like ready, like, all right, he's like, yeah, let's go. And man's ready to throw down with Koichi, get his licks back in there, man, as Aizawa and Endeavor, Aizawa and Knuckleduster can fight. Eventually, Aizawa calls it up, saying that there's a huge misunderstanding, and he realizes that he's not missing a quirk, so there's nothing he can arrest him on. So he grabs his bag and takes his leave, where we get another look at what he bought, which we just see some water and a shit ton of boxes for dry ice because of his quirk. So yeah, I am curious what that cat thing is. Is that a cat book, a cat calendar, a cat magazine? Like, what's the cat thing you got, man? I did not know Aizawa was a cat guy. So while all this is going on, Aizawa takes his leave. Knuckleduster pulls out a cigarette and takes a smoke. I'm like, hey, after you have a throwdown with the pro here, you gotta take a smoke break. Not gonna lie, does look pretty cool the way he like lets this puffs a cigarette in his mouth and lights it on, man. Anime characters, like, obviously smoking is bad for you. That shit will kill you. It's terrible to you. But goddamn it, do anime characters always make it look cool? I have to say, but they always make smoking cigarettes look cool. I have to say, unfortunately. and Knuckleduster is no exception to this rule, as he's just chilling there as Aizawa leaves. So, and Aizawa mentioned how he thought he looked like a villain, and Knuckleduster tells him that he gets that a lot. And Aizawa, and this is when Aizawa realizes, because he realizes the quirk wasn't doing anything to him, that he doesn't have a quirk. He's just that tough. And he said, so there's nothing because of that, there's nothing he can really charge him with. But he does mention that does make him less fit, and decides to send a tip into the police to keep an eye on him. I don't know if he actually ever got to send in that tip, because right when he was like pull out his phone ready to set it off, he hears some crying from civilians, and we cut back over to Koichi. So I don't know if he ever got the chance to actually send the tip or just jump right straight in the action. They're still like hot on Koichi's tail as he's trying to run away from them. He tells Koichi, is there anything you can do but run, you little cockroach? And goes for a fucking spin dash right towards Koichi. Yes, this man does a fucking spin dash, like Sonic the Hedgehog. Once in this part was storyboard really well, man. I like that you actually got the little onomatopoeia going as he's like rolling towards Koichi, man, which I like. I said, I was shocked to see this dude pull out a fucking spin dash. So he turns around into another corner and runs into the fiery big guy, and he was like, oh, I bet you didn't mean to come this way. He's like, Coach, like, yeah, right. He tries to turn away, and Knockoff Wolverine is right there in front of him, so he spikes a box in. But then out comes Knuckleduster with a fucking brick, and just beats the big guy over the head with it before it grabs another brick and throws it at Knockoff Wolverine. Both these guys definitely have concussions after that, man. Shout out to NXT when they were in the ECW arena and they used a brick, and I believe it was in one of the women's matches, they actually had like a brick. They used a brick for a spot, or like a cement block or something for a spot in the match. That was pretty insane, man. So yeah, that was pretty insane to see Knuckleduster pull out fucking bricks, which of course knock him out, and you can actually do see. If you guys are paying attention, you can actually see before right here, you can see him have the black tongue already before he gets knocked out, and his tongue is sticking out, showing off that he does indeed have the black tongue, the side effect of using trigger. You could say it earlier on the episode, which I thought was a nice touch. So Knuckleduster asks where Pop Step was, and Koichi tells him they went after the Bismuth, which also got something I forgot to mention, because I knew the guy that plays Knuckleduster looked familiar. Because I knew he looked familiar. I checked his Chris Wellesley voice, and he actually also played Pops in Megalobox. So there you go, man. Which I guess the dude has a thing for goated father figures. Because y'all know I love Pops and Megalobox, man. Megalobox. Oh my god, Megalobox was so good, especially season 2, man. Nomad Cinema. If you guys have not seen Megalobox, please go watch it, man. It was so fucking good, man. I wish season 2 got on Toonami, but it ended up never airing. I don't know if it's just the case of they had other show plans, or the ratings for season 1 weren't so good, so they just decided not to get season 2. But man, I miss Megalobox, man. I wish season 2 was. I wish Nomad got a Toonami run. And then Knockoff Wolverine tries to get in on the fun, but Aizawa captures him with his scarf and says, "This is real hero work, even though it's my day off." So we get back to Pops of chasing down the salary man. We also have this really nice cut where it's like behind the back of Pops as she's like chasing towards him, which I'm pretty sure this whole sequence in the background here was all done 3D, including the office worker. All this was like 3D, was a 3D background. Either way, it looked amazing, man. I've said this multiple times that Bones probably has the best 3D team out of all the major studios, man. From Hero Waka, man, they've done such an amazing work with their 3D work. Hell, sometimes you don't even know it's 3D. It's so good it blends into 2D, you don't even notice that it's 3D. Like, I remember people posting shots of Endeavor like a while ago. This was during season 6 from season 4 and whatnot of Endeavor that were actually CG, that most people didn't even know were CG until you like actively looked at it. Like, oh yeah, that is CG. Crazy stuff, man. I love Bones has such an amazing 3D team. Anyway, the Raptor dude comes in there, man, pushes on Pop's tip, which ends up having her crash into him, which ends up causing him to draw his briefcase again. The actor split outfit, and by this point, we know the dude is definitely without a villain. And he's like, "Yes, I can't let anything happen to my precious dolls." As he like grabs the All Might one, he has like these red eyes. He sticks his tongue out. He has the black spot on it. Dude straight up looks like a fucking lizard, and like some Orochimaru type shit. Pops the head off there and injects it into him, obviously giving himself Trigger, injecting him with Trigger, which turns him into this big ass fucking kaiju. We find out the dude's quirk is playtime, though, from the little caption we get, though we did not press him like actually explain the quirk, which I thought was a little bizarre, because usually whenever they have a new quirk in the show, they always have a little thing, the little narration pop from President Mike to actually explain how the hell this damn thing even worked. But completely cut out from here. I don't know if that was in the manga and the anime just cut that out, or if it was like this in the manga where they just had the caption and nothing else about how this quirk worked. Because I'm kind of confused on what exactly this quirk does or is, and like how the trigger enhanced it. Like, I'm not sure. Whatever the case may be, the dude becomes big. He's black. He has like he's like a massive kaiju. 2 additional arms pop out of his back as he's just like messing around with vehicles and other stuff, like a child playing with their toys. With Pop Step in one hand and the Raptor in another hand, with a car in the other hand. As he's just like, and Pop Step's trying to get out there, man. Eventually, she manages to shake free. With the help of Knuckleduster swinging in there like he's fucking Spider-Man on something, some sort of grappling hook or something. I don't know what the hell this dude was swinging off of, but he manages to hit the big guy, but Knuckleduster, well, actually after Popsa got free, he got swatted out by the dude, and Knuckleduster ends up hitting against the sign before he falls through some, like, I don't know what those little, like, fucking fabric things in it, like that restaurants have over their like logos at the front of their stores. That's like shade. I don't know what exactly you actually call it thing, but like fall through that, it breaks through before he finally lands down on the floor. And Koichi actually calls him Master this time. He's like, Master, I mean Mr. Knuckle. And then he calls him Master again later, a bit later. I think it was like right around here. But anyway, the big guy is now off balance and pops and manages to break free, break out of it. But now she has nothing to jump off of, and that's how her quirk works. Is that she has to like tap on or hit something so she can like bounce off of it. I guess she can't just bounce off the thin air. So her quirk is she ain't like with Lady Nagawa, she had float. She ain't that powerful with it. Once again, I love the I don't know what you would consider this, effects animation, I guess, water or liquid animation. But one thing I really like is how the liquids, like you guys remember I mentioned earlier on the review with Aizawa and Knuckleduster were facing off. I love what they did with like little droplets of blood around him. I love what they did here with Popstep, where you can see like her tears like flying off into the air as Popstep is free falling down to the ground. And I love the animation here, man. I love the storyboarding here, man. This sequence was really well done. As Pop says, seemingly is about to fall to her death, but my boy Koichi comes in there for the clutch save, man, and like zooms up this building. Though I'm pretty sure he was from the wide shots. I'm pretty sure he was a 3D model here for the wide shots. I could be wrong on that one, but it looked like his model was 3D. Either way, looked amazing anyway. I'm just pointing that out. And then we get the money shot, which is actually the cover for the CD or the album cover, excuse me, for the OST of the show, man, with the moon behind him as Koichi goes for the clutch save and manages to grab Popstep. Manages to put his hand under her foot so she can like jump off of it, man, to get her to safety. But then it is Koichi now falling to his death. But luckily for him, or unluckily, depending on how you look at it, the big guy manages to grab Koichi, but he managed to get like the 3 points of contact on there, slits off his hand and lands on a pile of garbage bags. Once again, shout out to Garbage Bag for cushioning the fall. Aizawa uses his quirk, and the dude is now much smaller and gets wrapped up, and he says like, you're not much of a threat now. Any concern says it would have tied you up. So yeah. Then this is when the cops show up, man. They do their thing, and Knuckleduster descends into the shadows of this alleyway. But Aizawa ends up meeting up with him and telling him that for what it's worth, I'm glad that I'm thankful for the guys for the backup you guys provided. And he says, we are the same. We all want the same thing. And he tells him not to get over his head. He continues on somewhere that's saying that their job is just to clean up the messes that the heroes can't get to. And Eyes was like, oh, like what? And he's like just think of the big guy and those delinquents. Imagine what would happen when we punched them before they could have done anything. And he says, careful if you have nothing. He's like, careful if you have nothing. If they haven't done anything, you're the ones causing terror. And he can understand that viewpoint, but he says, by that logic, you can't arrest until the deed is done. And he's like, you're the type of guy that likes to ask for forgiveness instead of ask for forgiveness and asking for permission. Which honestly, film rule #1. That's one of the biggest things I don't know if this is like a legit thing, but I remember, I could have sworn that was like one of the principles of film. Like, always beg for forgiveness, never ask for permission. I might be misremembering that, but I remember that being like a thing with like guerrilla, like low budget filmmaking. Always beg for forgiveness, never ask for permission. I could be completely misremembering, but I just know I've heard that in relation to film or something beforehand. I might be wrong though. And Aizawa tells him that I think your personality kind of sounds like, yeah, I've heard that one before. And then, like I said, descends into the shadows of the alleyway, man. We may get back up with Popstep and Koichi. She asks him if he's tired, but he just says he's just a little worn out from the battle. And then tells him to stop overanalyzing every little thing he does, and that she was hoping that she wanted to thank him for saving her, but now she doesn't feel like it. Oh, man, I'm really starting to. I'm obviously not going to get into spoilers. Yes, I do know a little bits of how Vigilantes ends up, but I won't obviously get into spoilers. But I gotta say, I do love Koichi and Popstep, and I'm slowly starting getting behind the ship, low key. I don't think I'm quite there yet. But I'm getting there. I am on the railing to get on the ship. I am on the little rail, the fucking runway to get on there. I'm on the runway. I'm not on there yet, but I'm on the runway. Anyway, this is what Knuckle does, and she's like blushing during this as well. Like I said, I love these two. I'm really starting to get behind them. Anyway, Knuckleduster is when Knuckleduster literally comes out of the shadows. Like, the dude literally phases in out from the shadows, man. Like, he's fucking Batman. And basically saying that what he did wrong was that he jumped, and how he fell down there, he just said that it was because he jumped. Besides that, he just got to work on the landing. And then really praised him for jumping into a trash heap like his master had told him. And then Queen's like, bro, I told you I'm not your apprentice. And he says, but you called me master. He's like, yeah, that was a moment. And they explains that, like, whatever happens when you're, like, in a situation like that, whatever comes to our mind is the real you. So, he tells him to mull it over a little bit. We then cut over to the following day, which first of all, I was gonna say, it's weird that these guys are doing this in the middle of broad daylight, because, like, I feel like a certain thing should only be done at night, in the dead of night, rather than not in broad day. It's like seeing Daredevil or Batman out patrol during the day. It just feels wrong, you know? And then we get to probably one of my favorite parts of the episode that's literally just the Marvel references hour, because we got this one dude with a visor that's very obviously meant to be Cyclops, a dude with sideburns with Jotaro's hat that like has like sticks coming out of his hands that's obviously meant to be Wolverine. This is very obviously meant to be Wolverine and Cyclops, because you guys have seen anything X-Men related, you guys know that those two are always butting heads. This is literally just the Cyclops and Wolverine, man, literally. So we see Koichi now, he's rocking the little motorcycle, like gloves and everything, man. He now has new gear that Knuckleduster gave him to help him out with like some arm strap things, or like sleeves for his hand to like do that, as well as some body armor that he puts underneath his hoodie so that he can to help him out during fight. And he can even run, apparently can even walk, or can go faster now when he's using his quirk. Although I'm not entirely, which it definitely looks like he's going faster, though weirdly there's this weird thing. Does it also make it where he only needs 1 or 2 points of contact in order to activate quirk? Because you see his foot is light up, and you know his quirk only needs 3 points of contact, but here we see him just on his foot, he's like struggling to keep his balance, and his quirk is moving him forward into another pile of trash cans or trash bags. So I'm kind of curious on like, did he change his quirk up to where now he only needs 1 point of contact and he has to work when he has to readjust, or like, I mean, I'm sure this was obviously done for comedy, but like, I don't know. Anyway, he comes out there saying that he's fine. We then get another flashback. Knuckleduster says he has to pick a new name, that, you know, Mr. Knight, that the nice guy won't strike fear into criminals. He has to pick another name. And then this is a very blatant reference to Tokusatsu Spider-Man, where he says, he says that he is an unstoppable force with an air of mystery, the Crawler, and literally does the Tokusatsu Spider-Man pose on the ground, where he says like, I am an emissary from hell, Spider-Man! And he even does like multiple camera cuts and everything, and this is very obviously meant to do Spider-Man to Tokusatsu Spider-Man series. A lot of Marvel references, but then again, given the manga after Vigilantes is now working on like a Doc Ock manga, it's definitely no surprise that he too, like Horikoshi Sensei, is a massive Marvel fan. And then he does another like pose, I'm pretty sure it was Tokusatsu Spider, or that might just be a standard like Kamen Rider pose. I'm not entirely sure where he's like dabbing. Like I forget if that was actually by Tokusatsu Spider, or that's just more like a general like Kamen Rider Tokusatsu pose. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, you know, the references are there, man. It was pretty funny. Now, one thing that I thought was a little bit bizarre was this episode, maybe this is due to the language barrier between, because obviously you guys know I'm watching this dubbed now, because as I say, of course I'm going to watch this, you know, dubbed. Where everyone keeps mispronouncing his name from the Crawler to the Crueler, which I don't know why, like at least with Glorio's name with Dragon Ball Diamond makes kind of sense because it's a different name, and you know the run joke, but this doesn't really make sense because the Crawler is a very standard word. Like, does the Crueler have like similar kanji to the Crawler in Japanese? Do the word sound similar or something? Like, this, I don't know if this is like a language barrier thing or just like, hey, you know, let's keep having characters mess up Koichi's name because it's funny kind of thing. I don't know, but I thought that was a little bit weird how everyone keeps calling him the Crueler when he says the Crawler. Like, thought that was a little bizarre. But anyway, also, one thing I got to mention is that Koichi also has sunglasses now, and I wonder if he's ever going to actually use these at all, because, like, one thing, I do wonder if this is going to be like Izuku's mask, where it's like, it's always there, but he just refuses to use it for whatever reason, where they'll just sit there on the top of his head, but he'll never actually put them on, because I don't know why he has sunglasses on. So, afterwards, then he reiterates him that he is named the Crawler, and then, like, Cyclops uses his optic blast straight at his fucking eyes right at him, which takes him down to the ground, and then both him and Knockoff Wolverine go over there to beat him up some more, until Knuckleduster shows up there, ready to lay the smacketh down on their candy asses. And And Koichi gotta tell him, like, no, you can't just beat the shit out of everyone you see. He's like, why? Because it gets the same result, plus it's fun. And he's like, you can't just do it just because it's fun. So Pop says, like, fuck this, like, they can't do anything right. And she jumps down from her post, from her little, like the signpost she was on, and meets all the rest, be like, hey, boys. And they're like, oh my God, Popstep, we love you. Can we get your autograph? And, she does her whole thing. And then that's when another villain shows up, man, this big rock guy, which ends up, like, the chaos ends up having a baby getting flung out of his carriage. But luckily, Koichi coming in, like, Odell Beckham Jr. with the one-handed catch, comes in there for the clutch save to save the baby, while Knuckleduster and Koichi team up to take care of the big guy. Cyclops mentions about them having a strong quirk, and then Popset tells him that he's just supercharged to the trigger, and just explain that, and they're taking them out, and then they're working together to take him out. Knuckleduster manages to crawl. Knuckleduster comes in there to take him down, man. And he also, like, we also see a Knuckleduster, even though he's definitely a fist first kind of guy and isn't definitely not much of a strategist, he does have some brains to it, because he mentions that, like, you pop-up villains are so easy to fight and to beat because you don't know how to use your quirk, and because of how top-heavy you are, you have no balance and easily push him down to the ground before giving him the Jotaro special. Lou just beats the shit out of this fucking guy. Cyclops and Wolverine are absolutely flabbergasted by this. Pop says like, you always take it too far. As we see and afterwards we see the guy again, we see that he has been beaten to smithereens. His face is all swollen up from the jab, man. And they go to take their picture and everything, and see and check his tongue, which obviously is black, because of that, because of the trigger. Oh, and actually, right before we continue on the review, there's a couple things I wanted to mention. One, I thought it was interesting that the little heart thing that Popstep has on the back of her costume. I thought it was interesting that she, like, straps her phone there. I thought it was interesting. And you guys remember in my review for the first episode, I was disappointed that they didn't seem to have that we weren't going to be seemingly getting a commercial card for Vigilantes that we do in the main series. Well, I guess either they just weren't ready by episode 2, or they just decided not to use them, because we do in fact have commercial cards for Vigilantes, and oh my God, they're amazing. They're nothing special. They're simple animations of Koichi and Popstep. I don't know if they're going to change these up and, like, we'll see other characters, of course, but so far just Koichi and Popstep. They both look amazing, and I'm glad to see that Vigilantes is indeed having commercial cards as well. I definitely do like these more than the main series one, because it's actually moving and they look cool rather than just like character sheets. But it's cool that they're here regardless, man. I'm happy to see that Vigilantes has indeed commercial cards. Anyway, so now it's like sunset. They're like getting their photos. Koichi and Knuckleduster are getting the photos they need for the guy about the tongue and everything. The guys are asking why they need a picture of their tongue, and she just explains to them that's how trigger works. That's how you know someone's on trigger, is if their tongue's black. She says that, and she tells them to, like, don't make sure you know your friends are on it. You can text if anything comes up. So they take their leave as the cops are showing up there, and then we then head back to the detective guy. I keep forgetting the dude's name. Voiced by Alejandro. We'll shout out to him, man, because if you guys follow him on Twitter, you guys know that he's been, like, really high for Vigilantes, because obviously he gets a lot more screen time. So shout out to Alejandro. Anyway, they're trying to figure out who like took this dude out, and then the cat dude tells them that I always said that there were 3 heroes in here, but they didn't even register. So then he knows that these are indeed Vigilantes. And the cat is like, I mean, if they take a criminal's kid, we can't really complain, can we? It's like, watch thinking like that. People taking up the law in their own hands deserve punishment. We cut back over to Koichi and the others, where they find out where Pops mentioned they have gone viral. Well, while Knuckleduster is chilling on the man's floor watching TV, drinking his beer again, and Pops tells him that they call Knuckleduster Freaky Fist Grandpa is what they call Knuckleduster, and they call Koichi the Crueler. Once again, I don't know why they keep getting the Crawler mixed up with the Crueler. I don't get it. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's where the episode ends. And Koichi's like, it's the Crawler! And yeah, banger episode once again, man. I've been loving Vigilantes, and I'm excited to see episode 3. We got some Bs this time, so that should be interesting. I'm assuming, judging that they're in the OP as well, I'm assuming this is going to be like one of the major villains for Vigilantes. But I'm excited, man. Anyway, guys, overall, I give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social if you feel like it. Links are below, and as always, subscribe for more. See you guys next time.